Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. My pronouns are she, her. Welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is Savory Sewing. You can also find me on Instagram at Savory Sewing as well. A Flosstube channel is a YouTube channel where folks talk about cross stitch, so that's what we're going to do here today. I don't have much in way of life updates, just stitchy updates today. First, let's start with wrapping up March. So it's April 6th today. This should go live on April 7th. And since this is the first video that I filmed since the end of the month of March, I thought I would run through my March statistics. And let's see, so in March I worked on 14 projects. I had 6 new starts and 4 finishes, 3 of which I'll show you today because I finished them in like the last week of the month. I stitched 28 out of 31 days, so that's pretty good, I guess. I don't know. Usually I stitch most days. So yeah. I would have liked some more finishes. I think I only have maybe 11 finishes for the year, which is a lot less than I think I had this time of the year last year. But last year I also was stitching on a lot more small things that I got finished really quickly. And this year I'm focusing on getting big things, progress on big things. That's why I decided to join WIPGO this year. So I'm not mad about it. I just would like more finishes. Let me see if that number is correct. Yeah, 11 finishes. Not helping matters is that I had 17 starts. So y'all know how it is. Okay, so let's move on to actual stitching. I have no fully finished objects, but I do have some finishes. So at the last video, which I filmed on the 23rd, so as of March 23rd, I had 0 finishes for March. Oh, actually, that might not be true. I might have had one. Oh, I did have one. I had the motif for Dee's 20 stitches, 2024 stitch for Pride. I had finished the March motif, and that was the only thing I finished. As of my last video, as of this video, I finished 3 things between then and now. And then I'm going to show you here, and I finished all of these in March. Yeah. So the first is one of my favorites that I'm super excited to have done. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen a picture of this because I posted it right when I finished it. But this is Poisonous Plants by the Witchy Stitcher. Just bring it up so you can see how pretty it is. Hopefully that's in focus. Yeah, I can't tell. We're just gonna go with it. I stitched this on, this is 36 count creme brulee by Forbidden Fiber Co. Really pretty, just modeled neutral. All of it called for DMC, except I did sub the dark green. This is Classic Colorworks English Ivy. I would say that English Ivy is not super variegated, so did it matter? No, I probably should have just used the DMC, but it's still pretty. I made, the only 2 changes I made other than that were that Poisonous Plants, and then all the other words were in a light tan color or white, I think, in the original, because it was charted for in black. But I didn't have black DMC, or excuse me, black fabric that I wanted to stitch on, so I think it looks beautiful. And oh, how far away is the frame? I'm going to put a picture in here. I have a potential frame for this, so I'm going to pop a picture in here. I was thinking like it would look, this is not my normal frame style, but I found this, actually a pair of these at Goodwill, or not Goodwill, random thrift store, for like $1.99, and they're beautiful, nice wood. So I grabbed them. So I'm thinking about framing this in this frame. I was thinking originally thinking more like a black, like more simple frame, or black, something like really gothic-y, you know, motify looking. I've not found either of those things. I happened to buy this frame, so this is a possibility for fully finishing this, but I don't know. We shall see. Let me know if y'all, what y'all think of that in the comments. All right, my next finish was Christmas piece. This is the Third Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Mathews. I finished, this is stitched in all the called for DMC on 40 count fog linen, and I'm really excited to have this done. I don't know when I'm going to start the 4th day. I was planning on starting it this month. However, one of my WIPGO calls is 3 days on Santa's trips, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I think that's going to take up my allotment of holiday, Christmas holiday stitching anyway for this month, so I think I'll wait, maybe stitch on that and start that in May. But anyway, I'm really excited to have this done. That's 3 out of 12 of those finished in that series. And then my final finish for March is, y'all have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, but I finished it. This is my Stardew Valley map. I finished it on its 4th birthday, which was March 29th, and it is now done. And you hopefully will never have to see it again on Flosstube. I'm sure I will frame it at some point and hang it on my wall just for posterity. But it is like literally the worst stitching. I feel like there are children who could stitch better than this. So I'm not going to show it to you close up, but I'm actually super excited to have it done. I now have no 2020 WIPs left. This was my oldest piece and it is now done. And I don't know how old my second oldest piece is, but it's a 2021 WIP. So it's, you know, not a 2020 WIP. So that feels a little better. So those are my 3 finishes. I will put a picture in here. Here are all my March finishes. I put this on Instagram the other day. So I figured I took the time to make this little graphic. I'm going to put it in all the places. So here you go. All my March finishes, only 4, but better than none. So, all right, with that, let's move on to my WIPs that I've worked on since my last video. I've got a pile here, so we grab that. Not too big, lots of fabric right there. All right, so the first thing that I worked on, because honestly, I love this and I would just want to stitch it all the time, is this pattern by Counting Puddles. It's called Brew. If you like Counting Puddles, the Cornhusker State Stitchers had a, what's it called? A trunk show YouTube Flosstube video with her, where the folks from Cornhuskers, I think it's Cornhusker State Stitchers, hopefully it'll be down below, had all her pieces, finished pieces. I think they have a store, and she was with them on like via Zoom, and they went through them. So anyway, I really love this piece. I did change the fabric and all the colors of the flosses. So this is where I am. I'll show it to you from far away. It's going to be this big. This is 28 count Phantasm linen by Atomic Ranch. And this is where I am. I started at the bottom. Because I was changing the colors, I wanted to get as many of them on the fabric to make sure they worked before I committed. And you can see I got the cauldron done. Doesn't it look good? The only thing I'm questioning right now is I can't see it in the camera. I'm guessing y'all can't see it on video, but this pumpkin has a stem, but the brown that I chose is really blending in with the black that I chose. So I think I might unpick that and pick a different shade of brown. You can see here, you know, you can very clearly tell there's a stem on that pumpkin. That's 975, DMC 975, which is a, I don't know, I would say that's an orangey brown. I used, I think, Caterpillar by Classic Colorworks, and it's very much so not showing up there. I think it looks fine here. It's the same color in the I'm assuming she's stirring it with her broom, but maybe it's a giant spoon. Whatever she's stirring the cauldron with, it looks good there. And the other thing that I did, I'm going to show you all the flosses in a minute, is these are French knots in the pattern. I subbed in little white beads because I had them. I don't know where they are. They're just little, they came in like a Stitchy box, advent box, I think I got a couple years ago. And so I will say what I had to do, because there were no spots for beads in the pattern, because it was meant to be French knots, is I just skipped a stitch in a way that you know, made the same shape on the fabric. So these are my colors. They are a mix of Roxy Floss and Classic Colorworks in the spirit of the DMCs, just like dirtier versions, if you will. And I'm pretty happy with how it's looking so far. I'm really excited about how that cauldron looks. And the pumpkin, you see she's really nice, like little motifs within these. I mean, this pumpkin, you know, could have been just solid orange or stripy, but instead there are these cool little motifs in it. So excited to have that. I think I spent a lot of time on this. It is a lot of stitching. I'll say stitching on 28 count linen is really nice when you're going from like the 40 count that I stitched. What's that pattern? This one. going from this, which is 40 count with that black, which was fiddly, to stitching on this was really, really nice for my eyes. So that is Brew Crew by Counting Puddles. I will pull this out one more day in April. I think I haven't worked on it yet this month. I worked on that in March. All right, next is this pattern, which hopefully I'm gonna put a picture in because the picture on the pattern is small. This is Olivia the Forest Witch by Bella Filipina. I'm stitching this with Stephanie from Frolic Knits. We started on my birthday, and this is where I am. This is very unimpressive. This is the called for fabric, which is Fall Foliage by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and I'm stitching with all the called for. So far, all that's in there is DMC, and then that turquoise is Krynic because I wanted to see the sparkle. Yeah, so not a ton. I think I just stitched a day on this. If you want to go watch Stephanie's most recent Flosstube, she shows her progress. She's stitching hers on Cyprium by Picture This Plus, or Fiber on the WIP. Fiber on the WIP. I always get those two confused for like no good reason. And which is a really pretty mottled brown. Hers looks really nice, and she's stitching like a little bit higher than I am. Like the head will be here. She's got like her shoulders and like up to her chin done. So there, yeah, excited about that. I will hopefully, I don't know when she's getting done, but she's fun to stitch on, especially this is my very first Q-snap. I know I'm not Q-snapping right. I don't have any grime guards or anything, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll look into making some grime guards. I think I've got some elastic somewhere in a drawer. I'm sure I can whip one up. Okay. Next WIP is switching. Now we are into April. So, segue. In April every year, and by every year I mean like the last 3 years because I haven't been stitching that long, I like to stitch on all of my Halloween WIPs. I'm not a Easter, spring, chickens and ducks person. Bunnies, I guess, not chickens and ducks. Chickens and just we don't really celebrate those holidays in my house. And I like Halloween and purple stuff. So I stitch Halloween because otherwise, if I only stitch it once a year, I won't have it all done for Halloween. And if you've watched my Halloween finish parade, this is how I get all this stuff done. Is because I've stitched a lot of Halloween and off Halloween months. You know, some people like to stitch Christmas year round. I'm stitching Halloween. So now we're going to move into basically Halloween WIPs for the rest of this video and a couple new starts, which are not Halloween. I'm going to put a picture in here. So this is a little collage of all of the Halloween WIPs that I currently have. And shockingly, there's only 11. There are only 10 things in this picture, but that's because one of them is in a magazine and I can't find a picture of it that looks nice. So I only have 11 Halloween WIPs, which honestly, that's not very many. I feel like I should have more given that I have like 40 WIPs. The numbers aren't, the maths aren't math in here. The percentage should be higher. So of these, I've already worked on 3 of them. And so that's good. One of them also was called as WIPGO this month, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But so anyway, this is what you'll see today and by my next video, because I will have probably touched almost all of these by my next video, or so I hope, and maybe even finished 1 or 2 of them. So from the ones I've worked on so far, I'm going to show you those real quick. This one is, here's the pattern. This is All Hallows Eve Sampler by Joan Elliott. I absolutely love this. I saw this, a model of this at Shepherd's Bush last summer and just couldn't wait to stitch it. I'm also stitching this with Stephanie from Frolic Knits. She's stitching hers. I think she's farther than me. She started in like the top left and she's like got most of the alphabet done, and I started in the middle and I've got, well, you'll see. Let me show you what I've got done. I've got one whole, I think my last video I had like everything to this side of my hand done because I had that witch done and the owl's basically where I started and these little guys. What I worked on yesterday, I think I worked on this, is I got the rest of the way across. So this is as wide as it is. This is actually only 7.5 inches wide on, this is 36 count Erie by Forbidden Fiber Co. And I'm stitching it with Forbidden Fiber Co. Excuse me, I cannot speak today, goodness. Forbidden Fiberco floss as well. The color is it chalkboard? I think. Yes, it's chalkboard. And the yellow is also Forbidden Fiberco. It's called Aspen Glow. It was from a box. I don't know if it's a regular color, but it's just a pretty yellow. I'm really excited to have that done. Or, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm really excited to have gotten to the edge. So my plan now is to, well, this has already gotten its one day for April, so I probably won't stitch on it again this month, but I'm excited to have what I have done. So that is Halloween WIP number 1 that has been worked on this month. Halloween WIP number 2 is also a monochromatic sampler style picture. Goodness gracious. See, I really should not be filming. I cannot form complete sentences. But here it is. This is Enchanted Quaker by Luminous Fiber Arts. And I am stitching this on, oh goodness, it's hand-dyed by Rolanda fabric. I don't remember what color it is, but it's a really pretty mottled blue-gray. And I'm stitching it with DMC, I think it's 413, it's a gray. And I got all of this part of this motif done when I stitched on it yesterday. It was a lot of stitch. Well, okay, more would have been done if I hadn't had to frog half of it because I can't count. But I did spend about 3 hours on it, which is sad for how little is done. But that is my second WIP that's been worked on this month. And you can see why I'm not getting a lot of finishes, because my pieces are they're not quite to BAP categories, but they're not small by any means. So we're not going to get a lot of finishes this month either, but I'm going to move everyone closer to the finish line. The next piece I don't have a physical pattern of because this I got in a magazine. This is from Cross Stitcher magazine, the October 2021 version. I know you can now buy this on her website, but this is Everything's Better with Magic, I think is what it's called, or it's just called Midnight Magic. Hang on, I've got it, the PDF right here. Yeah. What the heck is it called? Yeah, it's called Midnight Magic, and it's Stitchrovia? Why don't I know this? Hold on. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Stitchrovia. If it's not, I will put it here. Oh, would you like to see what I've worked on? Because, again, Elizabeth can't Flosstube today. This is where I am. And it is stitched on Forbidden Fiberco Lugana, 32 count, and this is called Wicked Night. And what I've gotten done so far, this has only been worked on this morning while I watched a little bit of Flosstube and drank my coffee. And I got the tops of, this is going to say better, and so I got the tops of these 3 letters done. I'm going to work on this more tonight, so it should be able to get a little bit more done. This is a WIPGO call. This was number 21, and this is going to get 3 days. So unlike the rest of my Halloween WIPs, because this was a WIPGO call, I will get 3 days this month. So what I'm hoping is I can get all of better written, and maybe either the word with or get started on those little witches. It'll just depend on what days I get to stitch on this, whether or not they're big stitching days or little stitching days. So those are all my WIPs. I'm going to talk more about the rest of my Halloween WIPs when we get to plans. All right, so I have 2 new starts. One of these is from the end of March, and one of these is from the beginning of April. The day I finished, I think, Poisonous Plants, I decided I deserved a new start. Questionable, but I did it. And I started this. I love this. I don't know why. It is, I mean, giant bowls of flowers are not usually my style. I just really like the sentiment. It says, inclusion is the key to growth. I like the colors. It's by Yasmin's Made with Love. And I started it. And this is where I am. Oh, hang on. I'm trying to make sure I show it to you the right way up. Oh, goodness. Hang on. I started in the middle, which was that orange flower, and I'm just working my way out. This is stitched on 36 count vintage country mocha linen, and I'm stitching it with Roxy Floss. This is not the Roxy Floss called for. That's on the pattern. This is my own cobbled together conversion from the Roxy Floss that I have from the various countdown boxes and other things. So it's a little bit darker. Like this color is Rosewood from the most recent holiday countdown box, which is what I'm using for the flowers, which you can see here are really much brighter orange. This is just a more muted color palette just because that's what I had. And I really, really love this. I'm hoping I can get a lot of work done on this next month, because this won't come out for the rest of April because I'm only stitching on spooky things. But I really, really like this. I am big fan. Big fan so far. My next new start was from D's 20 Stitches, and I'll pop a picture in because I don't have mine all done, so you can see what it looks like. So this is the April motif from the Stitch for Pride 2024 spot sampler. That is the theme of which is queer artists. So each month D is designing a pattern based on a different artist. This month was based on the Kiss and Tell Collective, which are a Vancouver, BC, Canada based, oh gosh, they're like a lesbian performance art group collective. And they had done a photography exhibit in the 90s called Draw the Line, and it was interactive. You could go and write things, and it was photography of women, lesbians in various loving embraces and things like that. The pictures are beautiful. You should go check it out. I will put a link to one of the articles about it in the description box below. But anyway, I'm going to grab the floss also. I realized I put it away already. So I was excited for this one before I knew what it was, because the color is beautiful and the pattern is super cool, which hopefully you've been looking at this entire time. But this is the whole piece so far. Look how, isn't it beautiful? And this is what I have finished of April. I am missing the words and the French knots. I've got one little French knot, and I love how these hearts, these upside down hearts look like boobs. I'm 100% sure that was intentional. There's no doubt in my mind. But yeah, there's only one half a boob there. The reason why this isn't done is, one, I need to put it on some sort of hoop in order to get the French knots to look nice, and I haven't done that yet. And I don't know if I'm going to do the words in the same pink. I don't think the ones in Dee's model, they don't show up. I feel like though that this is darker or brighter, or the contrast on my fabric is better, so I think it would be okay. But I'm worried about the really light spots and the words not showing up. So I might try to find a pink that is not variegated to do that, or I might stitch it in this blue and bring that blue down. Or I might also wait until more of it's done to see how the colors are. Not that I doubt that Dee's color choices, because they tend to be spot on with their colors, but that's what I'm thinking. So we'll see. You'll see in my next video if I made a choice. Otherwise, I might just hang out for a while. But how beautiful is this? This is stitched on, oh, I keep forgetting I think this is 36 count linen from Fortnite Fabrics in the color Elegant, and this is all the called for floss. I was lucky enough to get the floss pack from Knitting Nurse Jasmine, which is beautiful. I did not know, this is the first time I've ever stitched with one of these really modelly flosses, you know, with the speckled ones, which apparently is like a yarn dyeing thing. I absolutely loved it. Like, look how good that looked. Like, look at the variegation. Like, every stitch is a little bit different. It's very, very nice. So, okay. Those are all the things I've stitched on this month. Or, well, not, excuse me. Well, yeah, actually this month and a little bit in the end of March. So, I'm excited about that, I guess. I don't know. All right. What have we got? Let's do haul, because haul is going to be very short because I've gotten one thing. And then I'm going to talk briefly about WIPGO and plans, and yeah, that's all I've got. My only haul is this piece of linen from Bestitch Me. This is the, this must be the February fabric of the month. No, excuse me. Where are we? March. The March fabric of the month. It's called Gold Rush. It's really pretty. I think some like really prim Halloween stuff will look really good on this, which I would like to stitch. Yeah. It's showing up really good in the camera. Okay. Let's start with WIPGO. I already showed you Midnight Magic, which is going to get 3 days this month. And the other call this month was Santa's Trips by Barbara Anna. I'm just going to show you where that currently is so that I have a record of it. Sorry. And I did not iron this. I don't think it matters that much, but this is where I am. This has already gotten, actually, let me double check that. Did this already get 3 days this month, this year? Yeah, this has already gotten 3 days this year because it was called in January. And so it will get 3 more days. And I am not going to make an overly optimistic guess at how much I'm going to get done, like I did in my plans video, and clearly I'm nowhere close. So it's going to get what it's going to get. But gosh, I love this so much. I wish it was faster stitching. It is not, because I'm stitching it on 40 count and it's very tight and tiny. But it looks so beautiful. This is steel. I think this is 40 count steel fabric. So it's this pretty dusty green gray, which I think goes beautifully with this DMC color. And yeah, this will get 3 days. I don't plan on starting this until the 24th or 25th to get its 3 days. So I'm going to get a lot of Halloween stitching in before then. My other WIPGO call, oh, I just talked about it. You saw it. That will get 2 more days and then I'll be done. For my new starts, as many of you know if you've been watching me, I'm doing 24 new starts in 2024. I have 2 Halloween starts earmarked for this month. I showed them in my last video. I'll show them again briefly here, but I'm not going to show you all of the fabric and floss, so I'll show you the patterns real quick. One of them is Away We Ride, Away We Ride by Blackbird. This will actually be my first Blackbird. And I'm excited to start that. I really like it. I think I might hate the border, but I really like the pattern, so we'll see. And then the other one, which, again, could have prepared better for this. Sorry, folks. Is Witches Training Academy by Kathy Barrick. It looks like this. And so, given that these will be new starts this month, and I have a lot of other things to work on, they'll each probably only get a day, which means, unfortunately, they're not going to get a lot of love unless I really get, you know, on a tear and just want to stitch them and nothing else. But those are the new start plans. I had thought about starting 13 new things to celebrate Halloween in April, and then I did the math and realized with 11 WIPs that I have to work on one day trying to finish the Stitch for Pride piece, 6 days of WIPGO calls, there weren't enough days in the month to also start 13 things. So we're not starting 13 things. Maybe we start other Halloween things or anything else? Yes. But right now, that's not a plan. But, you know how it is, folks. All right, so now I'm going to show you all of my Halloween WIPs that I'm going to work on this month. Starting with this one. These are in no particular order. They're in the order in which they're piled in front of me. This is the Stitchy Witchy Bell Pull by Stitchy Prose. And I have a tiny, tiny new start on this. I participated in the, oh gosh, there was a kit swap, and now I can't remember what the hashtag was. I can't remember, I'll put it here. There was a kit swap hosted by Chinook Crafter and Megan from the one of the Megans from the Long Distance Stitchers. They're both Megan. And this is the pattern that I got from my swap partner, and all I have done is the words weave spells from the very center of the pattern. So hopefully that will get some more work, and there's a lot of words right there around there. So I'm hoping to get a good chunk of that done on the day in which this is pulled out. This is, I think it's called Cecil by Seraphim Fabrics, and that is DMC Étoile, so 310, the sparkly version. I know you can't see the sparkles, but I promise they're sparkles. All right, the next Halloween WIP is another monochromatic-ish Quaker. I have a type. I think I have I have three Halloween Quakers on the go right now. This one's by Teresa Kogut. This is called Silhouwitches Quaker. And here it is. And she's got it on this really pretty orange fabric. I am, shocker of all shockers, stitching it on purple. And this is where I am. Oh, I think there's more. Is there more of that little witch? Nope, that's all I've got done. I started in the middle, which I think is this motif, work down. My plan is to work back up and then go over. I'm stitching this in the called for over dyes, and it's this brown black variegated and this green variegated. Yeah, that will get a day. And I believe that one is also on my WIPGO board. Is that right? Yeah, so that one will get a day this month, and then we'll get called twice this year to get worked on 3 days. So I should get a decent amount of progress on that, one would hope. Next Halloween WIP that I'm going to work on, I don't have a physical copy of this. This is Salem 1692 sampler. This is by Witch's Garden Crafts. You can get this on Etsy. And I am stitching this with, it started in DMC. I'm not stitching it all in DMC. Some of these oranges are over dyes. But I don't know which ones. I'm not pulling them out. And this is where I am. Last time I showed this, I felt like I needed to pull out this black because this is 310, and I feel like it's just overpowering. And so I think I still might do that, but I haven't worked on it since probably October of last year when I said that, and I will think about it when I pull it out this month. But I really love this. I don't remember what this fabric is. This might be steel. I know I have a whole bunch of grays from Fiber on a Whim. I don't remember which one this is, but I really love this. I love all my Halloween pieces, obviously, but that, oh, this is literally just a bag of Witchy Stitcher patterns that I want to stitch and start, and the fabric for them. But the one I'm going to show you is this one. This is called Stitcher's Grimoire. I'll put a picture in because this was a Patreon piece that I think maybe has now been released. Don't quote me on that. If it is, it would be on her website, I believe. But I was super excited when this came out. And this is where I am. Oh, I have a lot more of this done than I thought. Also, look at this fabric. This is Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric of the month. I think it's a Autumnal Orchard, if I remember. It was like a fall one, which you see the greens and all those browns and reds. And I'll bring this up closer so you can see the stitching. It's not 310. It's a variegated black. I think it's a Ribbon Vibraco. And then the red is, I think it's DMC 366 or 666, because of course it is. You can see all the cute little the purpose of this was spells to help with your stitching, or that was like the thing. So like there's gonna be a little frog in here, so like no frogging. This says Eternal 310 under this little Mothman. No, what does that say? No knots. Yeah, I really love this. Oh, I can't wait to get this back out. I haven't pulled most of these out since October, which is probably the last time I worked on most of them. And I just like, you know, it's like you got to get out your nice things and pet them every once in a while. And enjoy them. Give them some love. All right, the next one. If you watched my last floss tube, I'm pretty sure I showed this because this was one of my, what month was that? March WIPGO calls. Magazine picture. Actually, no, I don't have a picture of it. This is the one that's not on the big picture collage. But I will pull out the photo just for folks who maybe have not seen it. But this just got 3 days last month, so it'll get 1 day this month. But here's a picture of what it's going to look like. It's a haunted house scene. This is the October 2020 issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine, the Halloween one. And it's original artwork by Kim Leo of Kim's Cottage Art, cross stitch adaptation by Elizabeth Spurlock. And this is where I am. I got all the way over to the edge of the pattern on its last, when I was working on it for WIPGO last month. And so it'll get 1 day this month. This is Ada. This is 16 count, picture this plus in flapper. And I really love this. You'll hear me. Clearly I've said that about every one of my Halloween things. Sorry folks, I'm a broken record. Okay, the last, yeah, this is the last one. This is the one that I'm 99.99% sure will be a finish. Here's a picture of it. This is a quirky Quaker from Deanna of Darling and Whimsy Designs. And it is the ghost. And that's where I am. I've stitched 3 of her Halloween ones, or I will have them done. They're all on this strip of fabric, but just because they're all here, here's the cauldron, here's the witch hat, and here's where I am on the little ghosty. I also have the candy corn. I think I have the candy corn, so I think I'm going to stitch that too. And they're all on, I don't remember what this fabric is, but it was like, obviously, it was the bottom scrap of something I stitched. And the floss of this one, actually, I will show you the floss because I really think this is beautiful floss. This is from Hand Dyed by Rolanda, has a Halloween floss pack. And I got, oh, look at that. That is basically, they're all stitched in these. Like this, everything but the yellow on this skein. This collection came from that floss pack. So there was this one with all the colors. There was a purple, black, gray variegated, just a solid, not a solid, but only a purple tonal variegated, and then a black. So that is the inspiration from my quirky Quakers. And I think these are going to be little pillows, or they might be little ornaments for my Halloween tree. I haven't decided yet. But those are all my Halloween WIPs. So I will be working on all of those at least 1 day between now and the end of the month, hoping to get Quirky Quaker Ghost finished. I don't think any of the others have a real chance of being finished because they're all so big. Maybe Midnight Magic because it's going to get 3 days, but there's still a lot of stitching left on that one. Those letters have a lot of stitches in them. But yeah, those are all the plans. And I think I'll be back. It's April 7th when this is going to go live. I'll be back one more time in April. Yeah, I should be back in hopefully back in 2 weeks unless something happens. And so I won't talk about May. But May's theme is flowers, garden stuff. So I have some plant plans for that. And yeah, happy spooky spring, folks. If you celebrate, happy spooky spring. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. I went back through my YouTube history to see how much FlossTube I've watched in the last 2 weeks, and the answer is not very much. I watched Peacock Stitcher, I watched Frolic Knits, I watched Bendy Stitchy, I watched Jen's fiber web, and I think I'm even behind. I don't even think I watched, with the exception of maybe Stephanie. I'm not sure I even watched the most recent ones. You know what it is? The weather's been really nice, and I am an avid gardener. And if the sun is out, I feel like I should be outside working on my flower beds and not sitting inside stitching. Unlike, well, except for today. Today it rained and was absolutely miserable. So I plan on curling up after this and getting some stitching done because I'm not going outside and doing yard work when it's pouring out. But it's severely cut into my floss tube and cross stitch time. But that's okay. My plants are important too. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your April and get lots of good stitching in. I'll talk to you soon, folks. Thank you. Bye.